Okay, so we're back. So yeah, the real Hampshire it's not showing the lines. I don't think it shows the lines of counties in the UK, but the real Hampshire is here with Southampton, Portsmouth, and leave me alone. Leave me alone. Right? And actually has a bigger population, even though it's pretty tiny, than actual New Hampshire. So I think New Hampshire's known for being generally quite liberal as a state, but not as liberal as Vermont. We'll get onto that. And having nice scenery. I don't know. Vermont, the state where they do skiing. Burlington's kind of well known. They have kind of high taxes, I think, compared to New Hampshire, which has some of the lowest taxes. And what's his name was from here? The really left independent Bernie Sanders. He was from Vermont. Awesome. They got syrup here apparently as well. And it's quite small. And I like how these fit together. I like a little jigsaw, like opposite states. That's kind of nice. Maine. Don't blame the Maine on Spain. Well, they did blame the Maine on Spain. The SS Maine was blamed on Spain, and there was a war, and Britain and America took Cuba and the Philippines. All the way over here, they took the Philippines from Spain. That was a big thing, and yeah. But anyway, Maine's a different thing. They're a state. They used to actually be part of Canada, but eventually they were incorporated into the United States. Portland, Maine. That's funny. That's also the biggest city in Maine. Didn't know that. And it's very cold and country. Not in the sort of southern way. Like, just woods everywhere and cold. I feel sorry for you. Now, is it just me, or does it kind of look like it's just sticking into Canada? Like, that looks painful. Although, yeah, that's sticking in right there. What haven't we done now then? North Carolina, South Carolina. North Carolina, where's... Right, North Carolina. Charlotte is kind of known. I mean, I don't think North Carolina has that much, at least from a foreign perspective, that is of note. Jacksonville's kind of well known. Country music mentions it quite often. That's quite international. Charlotte, I have briefly heard of before. I know they go into the Appalachians here. They kind of apparently are nicer than South Carolina. And then South Carolina, which is apparently not got a very good reputation. There's a lot of... Yeah, it's apparently a really poor US state. Well, relatively. It's still probably richer than a lot of European places, but yeah. And Myrtle Beach is kind of a tourist destination, especially that was like really helped out by Hooter Air when that was a thing. There's actually a video on, I think is it Real Life Floor or Wendover Productions or one of those channels about Hooter Air, and that's quite an interesting story. And Charleston I've heard of, but that's about it. Georgia, where they grow peaches as opposed to oranges. Everyone knows about Atlanta. Everyone knows about it. You gotta go to Atlanta anyway if you want to get anywhere else. It's basically the most busy commercial passenger airport in the world, and Atlanta is one of the most well-known cities, and also hosted the Olympic Games, which is cool. And I gotta be honest. Oh, and the devil went down to Georgia. I know that. And Johnny bet his life for a fiddle of gold, and he beat the devil. Yeah, that's true. True facts right there. For some reason, Georgia and the devil and the South all have a bit of an association. Even before that, in other forms of media that's seen the devil and Georgia. I don't really know why, but yeah, Georgia. Florida man. Florida's another swing state along with Indiana that can decide basically the results of the election. You got Miami, Tampa, and Orlando, and Jacksonville's in... I got something wrong here. Jacksonville's in Florida. I think I was talking about Jacksonville in South Carolina. Obviously, it's a different Jacksonville. I didn't know about Jacksonville. But St. Augustine was, interestingly, basically one of the first North American settlements, and that was settled by the Spanish in the 1500s. Quite interesting, actually. We should go into it. There's probably... Yeah. Fountain of Youth, the Lightner Museum, St. Augustine Lighthouse. Yeah, that's quite interesting history. But yeah, Florida man's from here, and some crazy stuff goes on in Florida. They also have Disney. Orlando's known internationally, not just as a city, but as the place of Universal Studios, Harry Potter World, Disney World, water parks, all of that. And people from all over the world go on holiday or vacation to Orlando. And Daytona Beach, well, that's known as a big tourist destination, and Orlando is similarly. Look how swampy it is. The Everglades of Florida are quite well known, and there's alligators, and that just adds to the idea of you hear a lot of news stories of craziness happening in Florida. Thing is, in Florida, nobody has any personal. In the perspective of news media, nobody has any privacy, so that's why you hear crazy stories, kind of, because nobody has any privacy, so they can't hide the crazy stories from you. So, yeah, you don't know. Nebraska might just have Nebraska Man, but he's just hidden by privacy laws. Miami's pretty crazy. The party's apparently always in Miami. Hollywood, yeah, I think they tried to rip someone off there. Miami Beach, everyone knows about Miami. Like, come on. There's a lot of Cuban influence and Bahamian influence. Is that a thing? You know, it's kind of like a shared sort of area here, and it constitutes in the Bermuda Triangle to, like, from here to Bermuda to... Oh, I've pressed on Bermuda now. Help me. Right. Alabama, not Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama is quite well known for English people, simply because they're like, ooh, let's search up Birmingham. And then it comes up with, this Birmingham is much... Let's look at Birmingham, okay? Birmingham, no, I didn't press on Hoover. Hoover, that's a thing you use to clean your floors. Right, Birmingham. Let's look at Birmingham. I'm trying to find out the population of Birmingham here, because I am sure it is smaller than Birmingham, UK. But yet, I don't know the pizzas. I've gone down a wrong. Alright, I've gone down the wrong route here. But a lot more people live in Birmingham, UK than Alabama. But yeah, Birmingham always shows up. So yeah, that's unfortunate. And Montgomery. Prattville. They name a place Prattville. That's funny. Montgomery. A lot of people know about Montgomery. I didn't know about Montgomery until Green Book, which is an amazing movie, and they're in Montgomery. Unfortunately, Alabama's kind of seen as quite a poor area internationally. Sweet Home Alabama is very well known about Alabama, and they have a bit of a reputation, if you know what I'm saying. And I kind of feel sorry because look at Florida, right? Florida right here just eats up all of Alabama's space. Like, this is why they're angry. This is why they're a bit weird. It's pent up frustration at Florida. But Florida's also weird, mate. So maybe it's like a fungal infection, you know what I'm saying? Like Florida invading Alabama. They're just spreading the insanity. I'm joking. You're not weird. You're great. Yeah, it's a bit like, look at this, where Croatia just takes all of theirs. It's like that, but not as extreme. And apparently they've got Hartley's Down Home Kitchen. Yeah. So this is seen as, like, the South, like, as South as it gets, mate. Like, this is South. This is, like, the deep South. Like, this is deeper than the deep. This is, even though this is Southerner, this is so deep that, you're basically North, you're so South, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense, but yeah. Columbus seems to be quite a popular name. I see that popping up everywhere. Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. That's quite famous just because of like folk music. Another Columbus. They're all over the place. Mississippi's kind of got a reputation for being really poor, even though it's probably richer than most Eastern European countries in general. But in the perspective of the United States, it is quite poor, unfortunately, and a lot of aid is given to Mississippi. I did Arkansas. Let's look at Kentucky. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Being a southern state, kind of, but they're kind of north, which is confusing. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Sounded like an attack right there. Kentucky, yeah, is just a nice place. I'm trying to think where in Kentucky am I? I do know some cities in Kentucky, I'm sure. Kentucky, Lexington, Elizabethtown, Bowling Green. I do like how it kind of just peters off it, like. But yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Southern music. Tennessee, barbecue sauce. Nashville, hot stuff. Memphis, everyone knows about Memphis because of Elvis songs. Country music, Nashville is country music again. You got too many letters in your name. Like, come on, just cut it down. They're known for being quite southern, even though they're not as southern as it gets, but like the nice sort of southern. Like, tourists will come here and be like, I'm in the south, but I don't actually go to the deep south because of the bad reputation, which is probably unfounded. Knoxville, I think I may have heard of. Yeah, they got nice sauce in Tennessee, and they make a nice brisket, like Texas, but better. I shouldn't say that, probably. And there's a few we missed out, isn't there? So, trying to look here. I think I've done everything here. So we got the bad boy, California. A lot of people in the Republican areas are a bit annoyed because they're like, oh, you're communists, basically because they're such a reliable Democrat party, although Ronald Reagan was from California, and he did get the popular vote, but I mean, that's Ronald Reagan. He's a bit of a personality. Basically, California is the most powerful and well-known state. California is almost as well-known as the United States itself, especially LA and San Francisco. Los Angeles is such a big hub of entertainment that its soft power from LA projects all over the world, and it's arguably one of the most powerful places in the country, even though it has no governmental power. San Diego is quite well known, Long Beach, and it's just interesting how basically any movie or any piece of technology you watch will have some indirect interference with culture or directly made in this area, Los Angeles. And every piece of technology you buy probably will be influenced by the San Francisco Bay Area. Like, set up there, and it's known, like, all these cities in the Bay Area are all just seen as, like, especially if you ask someone in England and you say, do you know about Palo Alto or Mountain View or San Jose? Mountain View is known because it's just always Google stuff is like, we're in Mountain View. Right, which is a bit annoying. It's not annoying, but you know what I mean. But all these names, San Jose, they're just known as like high-end, technologically advanced, like super cities in the Silicon Valley, where it's all men who work on IT, and that's the sort of stereotype as like really rich places, palm trees everywhere. California can kind of be summed up internationally as a palm tree. It was once an independent republic, Californian Republic, and they had a cool flag, but it's not anymore. But they have writing on their flag, like, get rid of that. I mean, a lot of places have that. Am I speaking too fast? I probably am. San Francisco, everyone knows about San Francisco because you got San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, like, come on, everyone knows about that bridge. And, all of these areas are just quite well known. Mountain View, San Jose, Palo Alto, Redwood City. I kind of might have heard that. Let's look on the coast down here. There's quite a big divide between southern and Northern California. They could be two separate states, really. And Baja California. It's funny that's called California as well, because I think this was part of Mexico once. Eureka, I have actually heard of that, because there's a place called Eureka, doesn't matter, but I had heard of Eureka, and also Thousand Oak City, because this guy basically cracked his left hand for 50 years to try and disprove that cracking your hands was bad for you in Thousand Oak City, which is a small city around here somewhere. I can't find it, I gotta be honest. Is it around LA instead? Lancaster, San Bernardino? I think I've heard that as well. There's Bel Air also has the reputation of being where all the super rich people live. Right, so now we just got the odd ones out. Well, they're not odd ones out, but the most western state, which is enormous, by the way. Although the Mercator projection makes it bigger than it looks, it's still enormous. Alaska, most people know Alaska as this wild fray of the United States, really, internationally. Anchorage would kind of draw ideas, and Fairbanks, that's not the one up here. There's one up here, though. What's it called? There's a city up there, but Fairbanks, Alaska, Juneau, which is the capital, may get some. May people know it. People may know it. Sorry, I can't speak. But Alaska, most people know about Alaska. It used to be Russian. The Americans bought it for a bargain, found out there was oil there, and now they're all really happy. They're quite Republican. They have a lot of guns, and they try and kill polar bears. There's Fairbanks. I was trying to find that. And, yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, really wild. There's a lot of snow. And you should get a sledge if you live there. Hawaii. A bit far away from us if you live in the UK, like literally the other side of the world. But guess what? Haha, America. You thought you escaped us. No, you didn't. Our flag is in the Hawaiian flag. Honolulu and the whole Hawaii is just seen as like this big tourist destination, like a big resort similar to Florida is internationally, and it's like the resort of all the people who live in the US, and they get a lot of money in there. And the idea of like Hawaiian shirts and what are those flower things called that you wear, that's quite well known internationally. And yeah, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, well, you can't, haha, but this is all of the United States. We didn't do Puerto Rico, which is nice. The American Virgin Islands, no, the American Samoa, or the Marshall Islands, or Guam. Yes, my favourite, my G Guam. But nobody cares about those places, huh? And yeah, that's the end. Bye. If you've actually got to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. And please leave a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. If you've honestly watched to this point, I'm so appreciative. Thanks.